Like I've never seen him like in so much pain before. Like he's always been so strong. Like when he's really sick, like he still like has a smile on his face, like for me. Like, and I knew like he was sick, but he would pull through and like still smile because he knew like I didn't want to see him hurting. And like at that point, like he couldn't fake his smile anymore. Dad was like one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's like one of those people that you like meet him once and you don't forget it. Like he's sincere and would help anybody, even if maybe like he didn't know them personally. Like he would do anything he could to kind of be there and like support people. And I mean, he was there for me through everything, like every track meet, like basketball game, softball game. And I grew up in a small town west of Lincoln called Marquette. It has like 200 people. And I grew up with just like my dad. He was a single parent, and I'm the only child, so it was always just me and him. And he married a woman named Lee, and when I was in 6th grade, but I wasn't like super close with her. But she wasn't like around towards the end when everything happened, so it was really just me and my dad the whole time. My mom left when I was like 6 months old. She like wasn't ready to have a kid, or I don't really know, but she like went to California and just kind of left, and I never had any communication with her until I was like 16. I started like being curious, and I was like, I want to know my mom, so I like started doing my research with my cousin, and we got a hold of her. We talked a little bit, and like we planned to like meet up, but like her and my dad obviously weren't like at a good spot because she like kind of just left. So I met her like one time when I was like 16 because her grandma died and came back to Nebraska for a funeral. It was just really awkward, and I didn't like have really any other desire to see her again. So she's like never really been in the picture, and I don't really care to have her in the picture now because it's a little late. Started getting like sick all the time, and like we were in and out of the hospital like every week, and like he was in the hospital I feel like more than he was at home. So like that was like basically like what I was doing sophomore year, like was always like in Grand Island, like at the hospital with him. It's like they're like, well, he probably has like 6 months, like otherwise like he won't make it, like unless he gets like a new liver. And even at that point I was like, oh, he's gonna get it, like he'll be fine, because like obviously like he's my dad, and like he's the strongest person like I've ever met. So I'd like never let myself even like think he was that sick. Like I think that was the worst part of it. Like even through like all the hospitals and like his doctor's appointments in Omaha like every other week, like I still like wouldn't accept that he was sick. I love you, like told me like how proud he was, and like I was like, Dad, stop, like it's fine, like why are you doing that, like it's fine. And then like not even 2 minutes later he kind of started coughing up blood, and at this point like the doctors were panicking, and they moved him to like a trauma room, and they wouldn't let us go in there, and they like moved us to our own waiting room, and they're like, we need to get him stable, and then we're gonna life flight him to Omaha, like we can't do anything here. And then they were like, um, we like lost him like up in the air, and we're trying, but like we don't know like if he's gonna make it, like just all this stuff. And I don't really know like what came over me. I just kind of like pushed through them, and I like set off all the alarms in the ER, and I like broke through the doors and like went in, and like I watched them like shock him and like try to like get him back. And I don't really know from there, like I guess I passed out, and I woke up kind of like in my own little hospital room like in the ER. And then they like kind of told us, my aunt was like bawling, so I knew like it wasn't good. And like until that point, like all of a sudden it hit me that like everything really just happened, and like that was it, and like I couldn't do anything else. And then I like never expected it, like the whole time, like the whole day I was like, okay, he's sick, like it's fine, another surgery. But it turned out to be way more. I think like my dad would have been like really proud. Like I think he deserved that much. Like it was like one last way for me to like kind of say goodbye. In a sense, like I gotta kind of like tell stories and like tell like how much he meant to me, just so like everybody kind of knew. And it was really hard, but I think at that time I was so like zoned in on something, like I didn't like focus on anybody else. I kind of just like spoke from my heart. Like, I had it all written out, but I didn't look at the paper. Well, I mean, I have like my grandparents like are really awesome and they're there for me a lot, but I mean, I don't obviously have like my dad to be like, oh my gosh, you need to do this, like do that. Like kind of everything I do is on my own now, so I like know like when stuff is like due, like when I have to do certain things, like doctor's appointments, like I kind of like have to make all that stuff on my own now. And before, like I kind of relied on him to do all that for me. And I guess like my grandparents do it too, but like not to the extent that like my dad did. So like when I need like help with something, like I go to them, but I used to just go to my dad for everything. So that's changed a lot. It's kind of forced me to like grow up already. Like I don't really have anybody to like tell me what to do. So like spring break, it's like if I want to go, like I can go. Like it's my own money. I don't have to like ask for permission. Like if I want to go to the Wisconsin game, I can just go. Like I don't have to be like, Dad, can I go? Like, which is like okay. Sometimes I wish like I had a parent to like tell me no. Wouldn't have came back to UNL at all if it weren't for like Pi Phi and like all my like friends who have like honestly helped me like more than like anybody could ever know. Like they just kind of like they were always there to cheer me up, or if I was having like a bad day, or like obviously some days were way worse than others, but they were always kind of there to like cheer me up and like make sure like I was doing okay and like keep me busy and like not thinking about it. Me and my dad always like talked about getting a tattoo together. Like he wanted to get like a self-portrait, like kind of like over his heart of me, and then I was gonna do something about like father daughter thing, but just because like he was like my best friend, but we couldn't do it until he got better, and then when he never got better, it kind of like didn't work out. So like halfway through, like when he was sick, I got like a tattoo on the back of my neck that it's like an infinity symbol and it says faith, and it was like to like never lose faith and that like everything was gonna be okay. I decided to get like one more tattoo like for my dad, and it's on my side and it just says like we only part to meet again, and then it has like 9/3, like just like the date or whatever, just so I kind of like see it and like remind myself that like I like will see him again eventually.